Welcome to Royal Legacy, where we will explore the rich athletic history and deep family connections of BYU sports. Join us as we honor the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future of the BYU Cougars. Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Lauren McClain, and this is Royal Legacy, where we dive deep into the family connections of BYU sports. Joining me this week is the 1984 championship running back, the Turban Tongo Lakei Heimuli, and his sons, BYUtv Sports Producer Hema, and former Stanford and BYU fullback Houston. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This is great.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Were you guys excited to be here, all three of you? A little nervous, a little... What's going to come out of all your mouths? Okay.
Well, I know. You should be more nervous.
I should be the nervous one, right?
Well, I'm a little nervous because I don't know what these two is going to, at home,
yeah.
I can control the conversation. But here, I don't know what they're going to say. So.
Buckle up, BYU Nation.
Heimulis with an open mic. That's scary right there. There are 5 kids in the Heimuli family. Hema, Helam, Heaven, Houston, Harrison.
Yes.
Is that right? All right.
Yes.
Lakei, what made you and Panya decide on all H names for your kids?
Well, let me give you a little background.
Okay.
When Panya was having Hema, I wrote down the name Lakei. I named him after me. But because my wife felt like that I was a rascal during that time, she changed it to Hema, which is my brother, because he was an angel. He stayed with us when he was at BYU. So it started the H name with Hema.
Okay.
And then when we had Helam, we said, okay, we got to look for an H name with 5 letters. If you look at all the names,
wow.
It's like H name, Hema is 4, Helam is 5, Heaven is 6, Houston is 7, and then Harrison is 8.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's, we...
Too much work.
That is a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
Yeah. But it's interesting all the how we come up with names,
Yes.
Yeah.
So did Hema come out more like you or like your brother?
Depends.
Depends. No, I tell you, Hema was really, really a good child. First to have a first child like Hema, and I think that's what makes us want to have more kids. It's because he was so good, right?
Yeah.
But then when everybody else start coming in, say, "Oh, what the heck are we doing?"
Until Houston. Once that came out, dude, they were like, "This is a gold mine." Then they wanted to have even more after you.
Yeah.
They did. So it's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, I love it. Harrison is serving a mission for the church right now in Tonga. How cool is that for you? Because you were born in Tonga.
I was born and raised in Tonga till I was 15.
Okay.
And then my family migrated to Hawaii, and it's, at first my dad wanted everybody to be sealed in a temple. Tonga didn't have a temple at the time. We were going to New Zealand. So he had an opportunity to come to Hawaii, and then he brought us to Hawaii. So he wanted our family to be sealed in the temple, and then that's how we ended up in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was raised in Tonga, speak Tongans, and then when my kids were calling and missing, I keep hoping that one of them will go to Tonga.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the last one, and then I think he's the righteous one. He's not the favorite one, but he's the righteous one. I
was going to ask you how you pick a favorite, but you just answered it right there. That's really cool. Is he enjoying it there?
He is loving it there, and I think. Not only that, but Richard Kaufusi is his mission president.
Oh,
there.
wow.
Yeah, so there's a history there with the BYU, too.
Wow,
so.
I love it. I love that. Hema, what were family dinners like growing up?
I don't know. They're pretty typical Polynesian family dinners, Like we all ate together. We all ate a lot of, Tongan food and stuff like that. But I mean, that's a difficult question because like me and my brothers were constantly eating like all the time. So, family dinners is like we just happened to coordinate everyone eating at the same time. But like we were mostly eating all day kind of thing.
Yeah, but if you're late to the dinner table, you miss all the good stuff. All the good stuff is gone.
That's true. So like here's a good story about like family dinners. Was it you that was choking?
So I was just about to say.
Okay, you can tell the story.
Let's hear it.
So yeah, if you're at dinner, you're trying to consume as much as you can because everyone's eating. Like I was always the first one there, and I was big. I was a chubby kid, still am. But I remember one time I was just scarfing down some food, like absolutely just destroying my meal, not even chewing. And, everyone's kind of just chatting and everyone's just having fun. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, because I'm just full of food, and my brother's over there washing the dishes. It's Hema, and he's just like, my mom's freaking out.
She's not the most like calm person. Like she'll freak out. Yeah, she freaks out. Doesn't know what to do. She's just like, oh no, he's choking. Oh, and she just like stands there right next to him. And I'm like, someone should probably help him. And so I stopped washing the dishes and I went and gave him the Heimulis.
Wow,
it was a very casual Heimulis. He just turns around, puts the washcloth down. He goes, everything comes out, and my mom's like freaking out, crying. My siblings are laughing, and my dad's just like
shaking his head.
He's like,
I was too far from them. I was on the other side of the dinner table, so I would just keep eating.
Someone will help him.
Like, that's what you get for eating so fast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
How old were you when this happened?
I know I was like younger than 8.
Yeah.
It was before Harrison was born. So I remember it was like down in our bountiful house. So
you owe him then. You owed him.
Let me think that, and then he named me pretty much. So I guess I got 2.
Really?
Hema's got 2 on me for now.
Yeah.
Now.
You named him.
Yeah.
You just gave your parents the idea for the name?
Well, the idea comes from I remember when he was born, my mom and dad were trying to find a name, yeah. And we had just seen Apollo 13 at the movie theater. And I was like, oh, that'd be funny if his name was Houston. And then whenever something happened, we could be like, Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. It literally was a pun.
It was a pun.
And Lakei, were you like, I actually like it?
Oh, I did. I said, oh, yeah. It fits the 8's name.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was
kicked my mom's belly then.
No, stop it. I actually love it. I think it's awesome. Houston, what role did football play in the lives of you guys growing up? Did you guys play a lot in the backyard? Did you watch it a lot? What role did it play?
I would say everything. Like, I think football made an impact more than I think anyone would ever know. It's, growing up, watching our dad play football, we all played. Hema played, Heelan played, I played, Harrison played. And it's because of those same experiences, that brought my dad to Utah. My parents met because of football. My whole family, I really do think football plays a really pivotal role in how we were raised and how we even came to be. So,
yeah, not only that, but football, it was a big role. For me, it was, as a parent at the time, we just wanted to keep the kids busy.
Yeah.
I think we moved back. We were living in San Diego in 92. We moved back to Utah in 92. And in San Diego, when we were there, the gang activities was going rampant in San Diego. So when we moved, I said, we're going to raise our kids in Utah. So we moved back to Utah, West Valley, and the gang. And then we said, okay, we're going to move to a place where the kids don't have to choose between the gang. Yeah. And so that's how we ended up in Bountiful.
Yeah.
And then we keep the kids so they don't go at after school and mess around.
Yeah.
So we keep them busy. Right after school, it's football, and then football, or if they have church activities, they do that, and then after that, it's home and sleep. So we keep them tired, so they can go home and sleep instead of going sneaking around the neighborhood.
That's interesting because I just watched Tony Finau on that Netflix series that he's in, Full Swing or something like that, and his dad mentioned that exact same thing. They grew up in West Valley, and he said, I just wanted to keep him busy. He said I didn't want him to get him involved in all that stuff. So you have one girl amongst the boys, Lakei. Was she into football and sports as well, or what was that like?
I always say that if she was a boy, she'll be my All-American.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's tough.
Oh, she was rough. She played soccer when she was just a young one, and she was elbowing kids so she can get and I said, man, she's got it.
Same in volleyball. When she played volleyball a little older, she was mean, man.
Yeah, mean. I remember we were little and we had boxing gloves. We bought those 2 pairs, and we were all just playing around. And Heaven's like, "Oh, like let's fight." I was like, "Okay, like I'll take it easy on my sister." But she started throwing punches.
She's like 1-2.
And I was like, I was getting like actually worked. I was like, "Oh, stop."
Well, she had to. What do you expect? She got 4 brothers.
But we were just like sparring and like thudding each other, and then she's like, "Bah, bah." She's doing the.
All of a sudden, she got the Ali feet. She starts shuffling like, "Yo."
I love it. Lakei, you left BYU as its all-time leading rusher, national championship in your back pocket, heels of the successes of Jim McMahon, Steve Young, playing for one of the greatest college football coaches in history, LaVell Edwards. When you look back, how would you describe that time in your life? Because it probably kind of seems a little bit surreal now, a number of years later. How would you describe it?
It was, I think it was the greatest time for an athlete to grow up and then play under a head coach who loves you first before football, So I think I contribute a lot of my success to him because of the way he handled adversity, the way he talked to his players. I don't think that I ever played for anybody who was as genuine as LaVell, as he, and that's one of the biggest things why I came to BYU is because of him, his honesty, his character was phenomenal, So I tell you a story. When he came to recruit me, BYU McBride was just hanging out in Lakei, So
Ron
they
McBride,
Ron McBride wanted me to come into wanted me to sign with Utah, and then LaVell came in, and then we were walking down the stairs from our place, and then he looked at me. He goes, "Lakei, that long hair is going to it has to be cut when you come to BYU." And then I said, "Do I have to?" He said, "Yes, you have to." So, I mean, right then I knew he was a man of character.
Yeah.
And then he's, and I tell you, I tried to grow my hair when I was playing for LaVell, and then I never get to see LaVell during the week or other than practice. Right? I'll show up at practice, and then I don't hang out around the football office because he's going to call me to his office. And I don't like to small talk with LaVell because I always get nervous, But then, every month before we get our checks, we get a little green dot on our sign-up sheets. And then the green dot is just see LaVell first before you get your check. So he took that opportunity to have a little one-on-one with me, tell me, okay, how you doing? I'd never get to see you outside the practice and stuff, but he was kind of like the father figure for me while I was away from home, And I tell you, you'll never run into or being coached by a man like that,
I love that.
Yeah.
And he's looking down at heaven from heaven right now and saying, "Lakei, you have a ponytail again." what are we going to do about that? I told you, and you got a beard. I told you not to do that.
I know, but things change at BYU nowadays.
That's right. It actually is true. Hema and Houston, what's one of your favorite stories that your dad told you from his playing days? And I know I read an article, you guys have talked about this before, that you didn't talk a lot about the national championship with your kids growing up, but what's one of the favorite stories that he's told you from his playing days? Start with Hema.
One of my favorite stories, there's so many, but one of my favorites, I'll start with, it has to do with the late Coach French. And there was a game where our Uncle Vi, he fumbled 2 or 3 times or once or twice or something like that. He fumbled, and after the play, Coach French comes up to my dad and just starts yelling at him, just reaming into him because he thought he was Vi. And so,
Really?
But my dad, he doesn't say anything. He just sits there and he's just nodding, just taking it or whatever. And then Coach French, runs out of air and then leaves in a huff, and my dad just didn't say anything, right? And then much later in the game, Coach French comes back. He's like, "Lakei, why didn't you tell me I was yelling at you and not Vi?" And my dad basically he said Vi's got a hard enough time right now. He needs to figure it out. So
Yeah, and then just a little background to that too is that Vi and Keala just had Landon. And then they were traveling with us to the.
We're talking about Vi Sika Hema, right?
Vi Sika Hema.
Yeah,
Elder
okay.
Sika Hema.
Elder. Excuse me,
Sika Hema.
Elder.
And they just had Landon, and this is the Citrus Bowl in Florida, and Landon was having a hard time sleeping that night, and I knew Vi knock on our door late morning. He said, "Hey, can I come in and sleep? Because Landon's just crying, So we knew going into the game that he's going to be tired.
Yeah.
And then I think that's a little bit of distractions that, during that game. And then I don't blame him And then when Coach Franz, I wasn't even to the sideline then. He met me halfway, and he was just reaming me.
You're like, what did I do?
Yeah. And then I just went and sat down, and then I just nodded my head. I said, just go away.
That's
and then he
amazing.
finally left, but yeah.
Vi better have thanked you for taking the heat for him. It's a lot. Houston, what's one of your favorite
That
stories?
actually is like my favorite story. And one thing, it's not really a story, but just like my dad would like throw in side commentary to like rewatch like this 84 year like highlight. And I would just like sit there and hear my dad. He'd be like, oh yeah, I tore that guy's ACL. Very like nonchalant. And it was like Michigan, and the guy intercepted the ball. And my dad just comes flying, like not even like, some people are pretty hesitant to like hit on an interception, but also you see his 35 flash and just take out this guy. And just very casually, I'm like, that's a hard hit. He's like, yeah, I hurt his ACL. Or like he would demolish this guy on a, with I think it was Kelly Smith is running behind him. And he's like, oh yeah, I beat him. I'm like, you beat him? You laid him in the floor. He's like, he disintegrated. Like, I think they said disintegrating block, but it's the side commentary, even to this day, is like the funniest thing for me to watch and to listen as my dad talks about that year.
I love that. That's so cool. How do you guys stay close as a family? What are some of the fun things that you do together, Houston?
Growing up as a kid, we used to have a monthly meeting with like all the Heimulis in Utah. Like my uncle Hema, who played here in the 90s, my dad, any other Heimuli family that's here in Utah, we would pick a place, someone's house, and we all come together, meet, bring food, big potluck, and it's almost like a family home evening on Sundays as well. So it was, I feel like that still is why I'm still pretty tight with at least this side's Heimuli family, and even my cousins I still chat to.
Lakei, was that something that was important for you? Obviously, family, you got a lot of kids, you have a lot of siblings, and they're all around. Was that something that was important to you and your wife as you started having children?
It was, and then I think we thought that it's so important for the kids to know their cousins and their families, and that it was also important for my dad to have everybody get together once a month on Sundays to just talk, share foods, and socialize. And then we at the end of each meeting, it's like he say a few, he's a man of a few words, and then he'll say, make sure you say your prayer every day, to the grandkids, or a little nuggets for the kids to do during the month, but it was important. And now it's so hard for us. We live in Arizona now, and all our kids are here. We try to get to Utah all the time, but every time we get to Utah, one of our kids will say, okay, Mom and Dad's are here. Why don't we get together? Like Sunday, Hema's wife texts, let's get together on Sunday. Mom and Dad's are here. So we did get together. We try to get together every time we're in town. So it's important. For us, it's important to keep the family together and to share and to support each other. I think
one good thing, one consequence of like us having those meetings growing up, like as a whole family and things like that, is that soon as my parents moved away, like me and my siblings, we still get together often, and we still want to feel that familiar camaraderie in the sense that familial bond, and like we keep it up even if my parents aren't around. So that's kind of you talk about like eternal consequences. That's kind of the fruits of like our grandfather having those monthly meetings, or our dad bringing our family together. Like now that they're gone, or when they're back home in Arizona, me and my siblings still get together and do that same thing. So
I love that so much. We're going to do a little bit of a trivia to see how well you guys know your dad's BYU career. Emma, don't look.
I don't need that.
All right, here we go. Number one is, so Lakei, this is just for your sons here. Where does Lakei rank all time on the BYU rushing yard ranking?
Currently?
10th. 7th. You're both wrong. They come on. Your dad's higher than that, guys. 7th.
Give me some credit.
All right, here we go. How many total rushing yards did Lakei have in his career? We'll let you get kind of an about number. What's your guess, Hema?
let's see. You were there 3 years, right? Or did you do 4?
I was 4, but I play mainly 3.
Lakei, do you know the answer to this? Do you know how many yards?
I know it's over 2,000.
Okay. Yep. He's right.
3,048.
Incorrect.
Not quite.
4,500.
Whoa, 2,710. You're making up for the last question. Okay. How many rushing TDs did Lakei have in his career?
14.
Oh, I was going to say 14. I'll say
30.
Oh,
what?
I meant 14 for a half.
Oh, did you say total? Oh, I thought
I
half
just
of
doubled
his
that
career.
number. Yeah, that's about.
We're doing so bad right now.
All right. The last one here is, in what game did Lakei have his career high in rushing yards?
Utah.
Nope.
Oh, no. New Mexico.
Incorrect. I'll give you a hint. It was
wait.
in 1986.
Ooh.
Lakei, what was it?
Wait. UTEP.
Nope.
Utah was 84. Or
Lakei, do you know?
I don't even.
It
Oh,
was,
he doesn't even know.
it was Wyoming,
Okay.
and you rushed for 177 yards.
Okay, little Wyoming story real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
So growing up, I hated Wyoming because of the story that my dad told me about how I think you were a freshman. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was
but
a freshman.
there was a story about where they're in the locker room, at War Memorial or whatever it's called,
whatever that place is.
and they're about to leave the tunnel or leave the locker rooms, and LaVell told you guys, "Oh, everyone put your helmets on." My dad's like, "That's weird. Like, we're just warming up and stuff." As soon as my dad puts his helmet on and takes a step outside, someone whipped him in the head with a bat. Then, he tells us stories about how they would beat them so bad in Laramie, embarrass them, that people would throw beer bottles full of piss and stuff like that.
Yeah, our locker room is underneath the stand. And it's one of those, it's not closed, so it's got holes in the middle. So when we walk walking into the locker room, we can see beer bottles coming down.
Oh, my gosh.
Canned water bottles coming down.
LaVell didn't hate anybody, but he hated Laramie.
Oh, yeah.
He hated Laramie, Wyoming.
In fact, my favorite photo of Houston it goes real hard, is when you played Wyoming here.
Yeah, I played Wyoming.
And there's a picture of you standing up facing the Wyoming
Yes.
huddle. It's
Yeah.
freaking dope.
BYU's the best. BYU for Wyoming every day, any day.
Screw the Cowboys.
Oh, I love it. All right, coming up, Lakei and Sons will answer some questions from you, the fans, and I can't wait. We got the Heimulis in the house. This is Royal Legacy.
And now back to Royal Legacy and your host, Lauren McClain.
All right, let's talk about the influence real quick that BYU has had on your family and how it's impacted the Heimuli family. Hema, how was BYU viewed in your family growing up? Did you guys go to a lot of games? What was that like?
We didn't go to a lot of games, mostly because they're expensive, and we lived in Bountiful, so it's quite a trip to come down to Provo. But we did watch a lot of games on TV and stuff, and and mostly, a lot of the stories and the games that we watched growing up were old games that our dad or Hema played in, or Vi and stuff like that.
Lakei, what does the Polynesian pipeline and having Kalani Sitake at the helm of the program right now mean to you?
It means a lot. I think if you look at the years that I was here, the Polynesian pipeline was what's the word I'm looking for? Was essential to BYU's success. And LaVell and Noam Chow did a great job recruiting the players out of Hawaii. You look at Coach LaVell, Louis Wong, Anais, and all those guys were, and then it caused the Hawaii to hate us because LaVell and Noam Chow will come in and take all the best players, and then they, but now it's the pipeline is because a lot of athletes in the islands are going to the Big 12s, and I think, and so is the members, and I think if BYU concentrate on the members, recruiting the members, I think they'll have success, kind of like what LaVell and Noam Chow and them did.
Yeah.
They went after the members, with the money that these athletes are making now, it's unreal, So they'll go to wherever the money is. Depends. It all depends. But if they have solid foundation growing up in the church and stuff, and and then I think that they can tap into that to the members. It's always good to tap into the members.
Absolutely.
And I think Kalani's great at that exact thing. Yeah. Like, on his show that I produce and stuff, he is not shy about sharing the gospel-oriented principles that he learned in, like, not only his culture but from LaVell and at this school. And so, like, I think that, like you were saying, it would be helpful in recruiting the Poly pipeline.
And he's restoring a lot of it. Like, it's just having a Tongan coach in general brings a lot of, like, notoriety within the community.
Absolutely.
And he's a very charismatic guy. He's not like a very silent, like, he's out there, and he's very well-spoken as well. So I think all those qualities together with what he's doing here at BYU is helping that community and raising that pipeline.
I love that guy. Lakei, I want to know, because you brought it up a little bit. What do you feel like you would have done with NIL had they had it back in your day? What would you have gone somewhere else? Would you have still chosen BYU?
Oh, I wouldn't have eaten as much salmon back then.
What was that, 87-cent burrito? That's probably going to have to do better stuff than that.
I don't know. It's a different. Yeah. I can't compare it to anything because it's a different time.
Yeah.
In recruiting in football, I think when we won the national champ, and everybody wanted to change the Power Five, make the Power Five, and I think they changed. Money started coming into to the sports, and I think it just ruined it.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have a little bit more in my check when I was at BYU, but but it's a different time. I just can't imagine getting that kind of money to play college.
Yeah. Different world.
Different world, yeah.
Thanks again to Lakei, Hema, and Houston Heimuli for coming on the show with me. Carter Bond and Tori Kimball helped produce this episode with senior producer Terry South. You can join the Royal Legacy wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, or on BYURadio.org. Royal Legacy is a production of BYU Broadcasting.